This is the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and the program is Diplomatic Ties. We're going to dwell on the 75th Republic Day of India. India, officially the Republic of India, is a country in South Asia. It is known as the most populous country as well as the 7th largest country by area and has a democratic form of government, bounded by the Indian Ocean on the south, the Arabian Sea on the southwest, and the Bay of Bengal on the southeast. It shares land borders with Pakistan to the west, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to the north, and Bangladesh and Myanmar to the east. India is also famous for its rich culture and history. India has the most diverse culture with many religions, foods, languages, traditions, music styles, arts, and trends. The country was ruled by the French, Portuguese, British, Dutch, and Mughal, which makes it a wonderful destination for history fans. India gained independence from Britain on August 15, 1947, after almost 300 years of colonial rule. The Republic of India, with a population of 1.4 billion, established diplomatic ties with Nigeria in 1958, 2 years before Nigeria gained independence. And the two countries have been enjoying strong strategic, diplomatic, and commercial ties since then. Both are members of the Commonwealth of Nations and the Non-Aligned Movement, being past colonies of Britain, as well as both are also large developing democracies with multi-religious, multi-ethnic, and multilingual groups. India's independence was proclaimed by the Indian National Congress. India is a leading member of a new economic group, BRICS, and held the presidency of the G20 in 2022. Records have it that India enjoys great diplomatic relations with the US, Russia, and China, while at the same time maintaining its independence in foreign policy decisions. India became a republic on January 26, 1950. The country has always observed this day in a unique and special way. As history has it, the day is of immense importance, reflecting the true transition of India's journey to real independence of governments, of the people, for the people, by the people. Now, in this edition of Diplomatic Ties, we are going to find out more about what the 75th Republic Day of India means for India nationally and on the international sphere. And to give us all that information is the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Shri G. Bala Subramanian. Your Excellency, welcome to Diplomatic Ties, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm very happy. Thanks for having me here.
You're most welcome, Your Excellency. I am Nancy Godi Angunihu. Yes, Your Excellency, once more you're welcome to Diplomatic Ties on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA.
Thank you.
Could you tell us the history behind this Republic Day of India?
India fought for its independence for quite long, nearly 200 years of fight. Officially, it started off, say, from 1857, but even before that, there have been various attempts at different parts of the country, being a large country and having been ruled by various people at different parts of the time. There was a large and a long struggle for independence, which culminated in India getting the independence on 15th August 1947. So this long struggle had molded the ideas and the views and the requirements of the country, and therefore immediately after we got the independence, a constituent assembly was formed of main leaders and important people, legal practitioners and everybody, so that we could proclaim ourselves as a republic subsequently by adopting a constitution. The Constituent Assembly worked for 2 years, and on 26th November 1949, they completed their task. They finalized the constitution and it was presented to the parliament, the Constituent Assembly at that point of time. and it took 2 months for deliberations and discussions and talk about the constitution. And on 26th January 1950, India was proclaimed a republic by adopting the constitution. So this is the history, and a very long history with a long struggle for independence, a non-violent struggle for independence led by our father of the nation, Mohanlal Karamchand Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi.
It's obvious that India couldn't wait for their independence. Yes, that's why they had to plunge into action immediately after. That's fine. For the purposes of education, could you explain the difference between Independence Day and Republic Day?
On 15th August 1947, India became independent, basically meaning the Indians gained sovereignty over the nation, over the control of the nation, and till then we were under the British rule. So from 15th August 1947, we became independent to have our own independent decision making and ruling the country by ourselves. Republic Day, which falls on 26th January, is the day on which we adopted the constitution, which is the basic law of the land, which forms the bedrock of how we conduct our governance in the country. So these are two different important milestones in the history of our nation.
And you celebrate the two differently?
We celebrate,
we actually have Republic Day, because
no, we celebrate Independence Day.
A lot of importance to this Republic Day.
No, it is important, but we have 3 national days. First national day is the Independence Day. Second national day is the adoption of Constitution, which is the Republic Day. And the third national day is the birthday of our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, which falls on 2nd October every year.
But the Republic Day is so unique to you people.
Yes, because it has given us the basic law of the land, which controls and governs how we govern the country. We have a democratic system, we have a parliamentary system of governance. We have adopted the parliamentary system in which people elect the members of parliament, unlike the presidential system where people elect the president. Everybody elects one person as the president. We elect, under the parliamentary system, members of parliament who belong to each constituencies, and then whichever party wins the majority of MPs, they select the leader to become the Prime Minister of the country. So it's a completely different system, which is a parliamentary system, which has been adopted from the British, obviously. And therefore, this particular day is very unique and very important because it gives us the path, it shows us the road as to how to proceed further politically.
Is there any difference between the ways you celebrate the two?
Yes, in a way, in India, we would have a military parade which happens on both the days, but the Independence Day will be taken over by the Prime Minister at Red Fort, and the Republic Day will be headed by the President, who is the head of the state on Rajpath. So while we have similarities in celebration, the main person would be different.
Okay, January 26, 1950, like you said, was chosen as Republic Day, marking the day the Constitution came into effect. Now, 75 years down the line, what has been the impact, of the Constitution on the governance of the people of India?
I would say the solidification of democratic principles. In any case, democracy has not been new for India. We have been having, we are called as the mother of democracy because even 1500 years before, our old scriptures and other things have been showing the tradition of how we conduct democratically elected groups which govern the localities over there. So, solidification of democracy, improvement of the standard of living of our people, improving the economy of the country, becoming self-sufficient in food and various other things, becoming independent in our foreign policy practice, and overall development and also assistance to our neighbors. And India has always been in the forefront of supporting other developing countries by sharing its experience and so on and so forth. So this adoption of Constitution, as I told earlier, gave us the basic path through which we would be conducting our governance in India. And this has helped us a lot. India is a large country. We have 29 states and 9 union territories. Each of these states have been divided, and they also have, like you have governors over here, we call them as chief ministers. Yeah. all of them are once again elected. So this has been a tradition, an unbroken tradition for the past 75 years. And India, when it conducts elections, it's actually a celebration, I would say. Because last general election, we will be having general elections once again in April this year. Last general elections, we had 915 million registered voters, of which more than 75% of them actually voted.
Wow.
So this solidification and strengthening of the democratic principles, which is the historical way in which we have been governing, is one of the main areas through main impact of the Constitution adoption on 26 January 1950.
Great. I am aware of the striking similarities between the Constitution of Nigeria and the Republic of that of the Republic of India. How would you describe the observation of the fundamental rights of the people?
In the Indian Constitution, actually initially when it was adopted, provided for 7 basic fundamental rights.
Yes.
There is also a separate section of directive principles in which there are duties that have been identified for the people and for the state. But there are 7 fundamental rights: right to life, right to liberty, equality, freedom of religion, constitutional remedies, freedom against exploitation, so on, equality, gender equality and everything. It is also there. Recently, we have also adopted right to education as one of the fundamental rights. So these rights have been very judiciously followed by every government that has come governing the country. And the importance of these fundamental rights, they have been upheld in the high courts, in the Supreme Courts, through writs and other things. The constitutional remedies, which is also a part of the fundamental right, has ensured that these rights work for the people. And any rule that is being made, any legislation that is being passed will have to be virus with these fundamental laws. The Constitution also made a separation in terms of executive, legislature and the judiciary. And that the fundamental principles, the foundational principles of Constitution are being upheld by these 3 separate institutions with checks and balances.
That means, actually, that's why, like we see, India is a great developing democracy with multi-ethnic, multi-religious, you know, multilingual groups. How has the country been able to maintain harmony and peace between these serious contending, you know, issues?
It's an important question and particularly relevant in terms of when we celebrate the Republic Day, because the Constitution, as I said just now, provides certain fundamental rights for every citizen of the country, in which right to equality, right to liberty, right to property, everything is there. And these properties and these fundamental rights are ensured that they are working properly through the judiciary also in case of any conflict. Yes, we are certainly a large population, we have a large population and it's a vast country. So law and order situations can arise from time to time, but there are redressal mechanisms which have been put in place through the Constitution and through the legislations that flow out of this Constitution, which ensure that wherever there is a problem, there are ways to address them peacefully, and that is being ensured by the judiciary and the law enforcement agencies also. So the government is very keen and government is committed to the principles of our Constitution, and in the past 75 years we have been following that scrupulously.
Wow, that's a country, I can say, a country that is very disciplined and has respect for the rule of law. Highly commendable there. We take a break now, sir. This is Diplomatic Ties on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. We are looking at the 75th Republic Day of India, which takes place every 26th of January. The Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Shri G. Bala Subramanian, is our guest. We shall continue with the program in just a moment. Now, Your Excellency, India maintains good relations with the superpower nations of the world like the US, Russia, and China. Your country belongs to a new economic group, the BRICS, and held the presidency of G20 in 2022. Can you tell us a little about the diplomatic magic wand?
India believes in the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family, where we have relationship with each of those countries in a friendly manner. We are a peaceful nation which would always extend its helping hand to any country that would like to have relationship with us, and we certainly want to have good relations with the rest of the world. We have, as you had also noted earlier, we have independence in our foreign policy decisions. So we always feel that the country is one world, the whole world is one family. We need to have good relations, and we have independence of foreign policy decision making. And therefore, we always say that my relationship country A is independent of my relationship country B. So with each and everyone, we certainly have and aspire to have wonderful relations, good relations, peaceful relations for mutual development. We also believe in the concept of shared growth and shared prosperity, and therefore, under the G20 also, when we took over the presidency, one of the main aspects of our G20 presidency was to ensure that the voice of the global south is heard. And these are the aspects which help us in maintaining good relations with everyone. And as regards the BRICS thing, it is not a new economic bloc. It started in 2009, and we are the founding members of BRICS, in which subsequently South Africa was also added to become, it was BRIC and subsequently it became BRICS.
Okay.
So from 2009 we have been having it, and it is a like-minded and similar economies in different parts of the world which have come together to see to it that they can cooperate and ensure that the experiences that each of us have will be useful and can be emulated by the other in developing their own countries also.
All right. Let me ask you, what would you consider to be the greatest achievements of India during the presidency of the G20, at least in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, I would say 3 points on that. One is that we had consensus. We were able to, at a difficult time when there are difficult conflicts happening in different parts of the world, we were able to have the consensus on the leadership declaration that was declared on the first day, that is on 9th of September 2023 itself. That is one. Secondly, admission of African Union as a permanent member on the recommendation and the push of efforts made by India, which was accepted by all the G20 members, is another great achievement, because 1.2 billion people will now have a seat on the table to contribute to the decision-making process of the world. And third, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, had made it a point that the global south, whose voice is generally not heard, where 2/3 of the population of the world reside, they should also be part of the decision-making process. He had 2 Voice of the Global South summits on a virtual mode, in which President of Nigeria had also participated in the first edition, and in the second edition, the Finance Minister had participated. And so getting the Voice of the Global South platform is considered to be another achievement. These are major achievements, and there are various other issues on from every aspect of development that were also covered.
You know, you mentioned Nigeria now, and I would want to ask you, what do you think Nigeria has gained from relationship with India?
We have,
and vice versa.
Yes, we have mutually beneficial cooperation for the past 64 years, I would say. Since we started our diplomatic ties with you in 1958, 2 years before our independence. Since then, we have been having wonderful relations. At the political level, there is regular exchange of visits and meetings between our leadership. The last visit was His Excellency President Tinubu had visited for the G20 summit in September there, along with a group of ministers. And we are also expecting our foreign minister to come next Monday.
Our president had a special invitation from your
yes, given the special relationship that we have since independence of Nigeria, when we took over the presidency in December 2022 of G20, we had invited Nigeria for the first time to become a guest country and to participate in all the deliberations and meetings. We had more than 215 meetings, and contribution of Nigeria was invaluable, which contributed to the final leadership declaration also. and therefore we have mutually beneficial cooperation. On the political side, as I said, economic side, India is the largest trading partner for Africa, one of the largest trading partners for Africa. And in Africa, Nigeria is the largest trading partner for us. We have more than 150 companies with $27 billion of investments. Anecdotally saying, Indian companies are actually employing second largest employer of Nigerians after the Nigerian government. People-to-people relations is wonderful. Many students go to India and many people go for medical treatment to India. So there has been an all-round cooperation between our two countries.
Beautiful relations with every country, especially Nigeria. Let me get back to your Republic Day. India pledges to uphold the pillars of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. As stated in your constitution, gender equality is goal 5 of the SDGs. What is your impression about this in your home country? Gender equality.
We give due importance to gender equality in our country. 50% of our people are women, obviously. So our gender sex ratio is close to 1,996 men to women ratio is there. So it is very important that this part of our population also contributes productively towards the economic development and social development of the country. We very recently, Indian government, the legislation, the parliament had passed a bill for reserving 33% of the parliament seats to women. So this is a major achievement in terms of that. This was earlier also done through the 75th and 76th amendment in the local bodies. We have had our Prime Minister, a long-serving Prime Minister who was a lady. We have the current President is a lady. Many of our ministers, many of our Speaker has been a lady.
India is gender compliant.
Absolutely, and we give due importance. The next director who is in charge of putting humans in space in India is a lady. So in all areas we have contribution, wonderful contribution, productive contribution of women.
All right. On this your outing, as Republic 75th Democracy or Republic Day celebration, are there activities lined up here in Nigeria to celebrate that?
Yes, absolutely. As I told you, we are expecting our minister to come here for a joint commission. Our foreign minister, Dr. Jaishankar, would be here for joint commission on 22nd, close just before our Republic Day celebration. On the day of Republic Day celebration, in the morning, we would certainly be having the flag hoisting for the Indian community. In the evening, there would be a reception. We would be also meeting the press and giving further information, and there could be a special publication that we could bring out, or information about our Republic Day. And in the last Independence Day, just to give you a background, we also organized a blood donation camp from the Indian side in one of the hospitals over here, with more than 30-40 units of bloods were collected. So these kinds of activities we certainly do throughout the world on the occasion of Republic Day.
What's the message of your home country on the 75th Republic Day celebration?
India is a friend. India is ready to cooperate. India is ready to collaborate. And we consider, as I told, whole world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. We believe in shared growth and shared prosperity, and whatever we have gained, whatever our experience has been, we would be happy to share with the rest of the world for mutual development.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for coming on the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Namaste.
We wish you a very fruitful celebration.
Thank you.
It's been worth our while filling you in on the 75th Republic Day celebration of India. The achievements recorded by India these 75 years and the impact on her citizens and the world community by extension. The Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Sri G. Balasubramanian, has been our guest. Another edition of the Diplomatic Ties comes up same time next week. And on behalf of the crew, this is Nancy Godiangunihu thanking you for your time.